What time is it for you now? Again, it's
6:30.
5.
6:30.
Oh my gosh. That's funny.
Yeah, it's okay. I had a choice to pick a later one, but I just felt, just wanted to do it,
Amazing.
right
Amazing.
away.
You're a warrior, brother. You're a warrior.
I'm trying.
I gotta say, I woke up at 3:45 today though, but I do go to sleep at 7:30.
Oh my God, 3:45.
Yeah. We have a very interesting regimen, me and YL. He wakes up at 3:30 every day, and
Wow.
he goes to sleep pretty much at 7:30, sometimes 8. But it's pretty nice, amazing. We don't do anything else. Like we're in the house all day long, and we just go out for 30 minutes individually to go and do calisthenics outside and play a bit of basketball by ourselves, like me alone. And then when I'm done, he goes downstairs alone. And then we come back up and he's in his office working and I'm in my office working, like the whole day. Very interesting lifestyle.
It is.
Yeah, but he does make breakfast and dinner for me, and then I do the dishes. But that's our arrangement.
Nice teamwork there.
Some very nice teamwork. Anyway, yeah, it's interesting. So, but let's talk about Justin. Let's see what's going on. You said that the last couple of days have been a bit more troublesome, or last few weeks, or this month.
Yes, it has. And actually, that's the first time I want to talk to you about. So on Wednesday, I actually gave my resignation to my my employer. So, I mean, if you notice in the screenshot, I was able to do 10 hours of trading because I wasn't working. But it's only been just for the last couple of days. So I said, okay, let me just tell them so that we can kind of discuss it, because I know that you might have some questions, concerns, and so that's the first thing, so.
Well, first of all, congratulations. This is obviously something you've been thinking about for quite some time. And it's a happy time for you, I would assume.
Relief.
Relief?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll just
okay.
put it that much.
Good. Well, I mean, all the questions I have, so I'll let you share, well, what's been the process that you've been having in your mind? What caused you? Well, yeah, I'll let you speak.
Yeah, I've been thinking about the job for a while. I just thought that maybe I would do it for maybe another 3 to 6 months or something like that. That way I have more money. But yeah, I just got to the point, I guess, where just like mentally it's kind of taking a toll. I mean, I think it all happening at once. I think just everything just gonna happen at once. So yeah, and I guess that's kind of ended up to me. That results in me like leaving. So now I'm in a space where it's like, okay, like I still agree with the 80-hour work week. The part that I don't agree with, I think, is just working just a job. I think it's just maybe just the mindset of the 9 to 5 and just maybe the environment. I'm just thinking, hey, you know what? I could put 80 hours into just my business. I'd be okay with that, but I know that just specifically trading, you also need income. And I'm like, okay, is trading the right path for me? And, so I had so many, it's been a very reflective time for me, so, yeah, it's just, I think just the working part, I think of just working the job, I think is what's like not sitting well with me.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'm glad we're having this conversation. We probably should have had it 2 or 3 weeks ago, because this is my expertise, right? And I mean, me, I guess, a little bit by now. You've been around for a few months, and my expertise is to tell you what the future is going to be, just based on the different equations that are happening in one's life. I can't do that without information, though. Information creates inspiration for me. And so if I have the information, I can help you to see this is what's going to happen and which path would you prefer based on the consequences that will happen, right? And so there's going to be consequences to you quitting your job. They might be positive consequences, but there's going to be some downsides as well.
Right.
And so I don't mind it, but it's an equation that still needs a solution. Like, when you solve a problem, you're creating a different problem, right?
Right, that's true.
And the problem now is, well, what does that mean for my trading? Does that mean I'm getting another job that might be more enjoyable? Maybe that pays more. I mean, you never know. What I should have or should have not done, it's the past, right? You've already
Yeah,
given in your resignation. You've already quit. So there's no
there's no
going
going
back.
back.
So we have to. Um, I'd love to hear your thoughts on, if you must have given that some thought before you quit. It wasn't. It at least I think so. Like, it wasn't I'm just going to quit this job and I don't care what the consequences are. Or was it?
Now, I knew there'd be consequences. I mean, obviously, the first one is, okay, how am I going to replace his income? I'm still in a lease until October. So, I did, think about it. I was actually, prior to that day, I guess in my mind, I was kind of already thinking, okay, maybe I can look for something that's more aligned with who I am.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just a different job I can work. Maybe it's just, part-time as well. And some other things, I'm like, okay, am I enjoying my path? Because I realized, because I've gone out actually for the first time in like 4 or 5 months. And I just remember it was extremely overwhelming for me. And I think it's because I've just been not socializing as much. So I understand that as much. I mean, on Telegram or whatever, and maybe Discord, but I mean, I think it's different when it's in face-to-face interaction. So I just had all this, weird anxiety about it, but I get it. I haven't been out of the house in a while, so it was nice. But I think I've realized that I value, I guess, in this time of like isolation, how much I guess I like value like connections and friendships and actually going out. I didn't realize I valued that, how much I valued it, until I guess of how much I've been boxed in, which I don't regret, because I was on a path to freedom. So I don't really regret anything that's happened. I think the 80-hour work week has still built me up to be the person I am today. I can see what I can handle. And I think you actually, because there's a lot of quotes out there about like people who believe in you before you did. And I think that you're one of those people. I honestly believe that, you kind of inspired me. Like, you can really do this, and you made it possible to believe that I don't have to wait till I'm 50 to achieve financial freedom. Like, that just depressing. Like, no, if I can maybe do this before 40, great, because 50 is nice, but I'm going to be older, so I don't want to,
I hear you.
increase
Yeah.
motor skills and all that, so if I can get it done sooner, great, I thought of a proposition that maybe it might interest you. It could be risky. I know that we talked about, okay, if I was able to profit, like, let's say $3K a month for trading, which would be enough to cover my expenses and still reinvest into trading, that I could, potentially leave the job. You'd be okay with that. I would have enough income if I could consistently be profitable, at least $3K a month, and then it could slowly progress. Yeah. So I wanted to maybe take on that challenge. Just hear me out. So I have like 2,500 in my account. I was going to get it up to like 5,000. So with 5,000 in the account and with day trading, I could make 1%. I guess I can increase it by 1%, which would be $50 if I had 5,000 with the account. And if I did that for 30 days, that could come up to 1,500. Now, if I was able to make 100 a day, which would be 2%, that would be $100 a day. And then over the course of 30 days, that would be 3,000.
Yeah.
It might be easier to do that with trading with 10,000 in the account, because then 1% of that is $100.
Yeah.
But if you do it with 5,000, you have to trade a little bit more to get to that same amount that would take with 10,000. If that makes sense. But I was thinking of something. I was like, okay, what if I can prove to him that I can make this income that we're kind of like, okay, you don't have a job. What are you going to do? What if I can prove to you that I can be like profitable, like for real. Like I know I didn't, that amount that I showed, it was just a few dollars and some change. So it may not seem like it's possible, but I'm just throwing something out there. I wanted to see how you feel about it, because if I'm really going to lock into trading and just forget about content creation, what do you feel about that? And what are you feeling on it?
Well, I'll send you one let's see, quote from Awet that he found today and he sent to me. Okay, how about you read it?
Okay, so for people thinking to get into trading, please read this. If you're learning to trade because you lost your job, okay, this applies to me, or have other issues in life, please don't trade. Trading, or even learning to trade when you're stressed, desperate, is guaranteed to get you bankrupt. Influencers and course sellers also use this desperation to scam you. Learning to trade starts as a hobby, then passionate interests, part-time, then move on to it full-time once profitable. You're sad, unsure, and in need of money, stay away from trading. Sorry for the anti-motivation. I tell the truth as I don't have anything to sell.
Now, you are profitable. So just from that alone, you could say, well, I'm profitable, so I can go full-time. Because if I just do what I did, just not necessarily more of it, but I do it at a little bit bigger scale, because I was, I wanted to be a little bit more risk averse in the past, then, you could potentially say that, you're ready for full-time profitability. But you don't have that much long of a runway. You know what I'm saying? Like, your net worth, what's your net worth? Which is great that you have something, right? It's fantastic that you stack some cash up. The only thing that I'm worried about is the increased need to win. And then that would take you back to the other quote I sent you just now.
Okay, 90% of trading is just waiting for the right market conditions, then waiting for the right setup, then waiting for the right entry trigger. If you're addicted to the feeling of opening new trades, the market will quickly wipe you out. Okay. I think I kind of see where you're getting at, because you don't, I have these goals. I can make $100 a day, but there aren't always great opportunities out there. And I even watch like other traders, and sometimes they don't have any trades. And I don't know if that's what you're getting at, but also, I mean, you don't want to do it from a place of desperation, and maybe you're kind of sensing that from me because I just quit the job.
Well, I mean, if you had discussed this with me previous, like if you had actually talked with me 2 or 3 weeks ago or 2 months ago, I mean, you've been thinking about this for a long time. However, you did tell me. I do remember you're like, bro, I really want to quit my job. Like you were talking about it, but you weren't saying like, I'm gonna quit my job. In the end of April.
I really did not plan on working this job like too much longer. Like I really thought I was going to give it at least another 3 months, or at least until my lease was over. So I did have intentions of keeping it, but it didn't really work out that way. So
just that action alone of not revealing that to me and doing something that's a little bit risky, that in and of itself tells me that maybe you shouldn't be trading full time when you actually are in need of money. Does that make sense? Because it just shows that there was some emotion in the decision-making process of quitting the job. The other thing the other reason why I'm saying this is because if you and I collaborated on, what should we do to kind of solve the equation of the job not being suitable for me and me not really enjoying it, the first thing I would have told you is like, well, let's find another one, like, because that's how we do things. Like it's very important to have a job on the side of building a business or learning a skill that's supposed to bring in money. And because you never want to put yourself in a desperate and needy situation, because the universe just, it just doesn't work like that. It's like abundance, everything comes to you. Scarcity, then Everything is like it's beginning to be repelled, right? And so I would have advised, and it would have been easy to be like, let's find a different job. It still is, but it would have shown that it wasn't an emotional decision. This is a logical approach of us. I'm just done with this job. I want something else. What do you think, Joseph? Let's do applications. Let's find out what's out there. And if you can't get a job, then you just have to suck it up. You just have to stay in that job until we find one, you know? And we didn't do that, you know? So I'm support you in whatever it is that you want to do. And if you would want to trade full time like Awet is doing right now, then he was the one who sent me this, by the way.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Then you can. It's just the problem 3 months from now, if you are still kind of almost profitable, but not quite, 3
Right.
months passed, you broke, and like you have to move back in with your mom, which you don't want to do. So it's like, you get what I'm saying? Like, that's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
There you
It's
go.
not.
There you go.
It's not going to happen.
So the solution is, or my advice, and you can do with it whatever you want, my thought process is it might be wise to just get another job. And if it's part-time, cool, because at least it will cover your expenses and your bills and give you a little bit more. I mean, that's kind of all you need if you just want to tolerate that. But you preferably would want to have a full-time job that paid you the same amount that you had or more, because that would give you the extra leverage for your trading. If you want to continue to trade, I wouldn't want you to stop that though. But if you're like, I want to do content creation, well, actually it would be the exact same thing. The only difference is that there you just need time. You don't need money to succeed in content creation. If you wanted to do sales, different story altogether, because sales, you can make money immediately if you want to do sales. But is sales what you want to do? You know, then you're putting the trading path completely away and just, we're starting from scratch, from zero. Was 0 hours, let's build it 1,000 hours, right? So I just want to know what your vision is. What do you want? Because at the end of the day, that's the only thing that matters. You are the captain of your ship. You're the master of your soul. What do you want to do?
I was doing like this vision thing. I was trying to actually envision myself and how I would see my future. And I just got these glimpses of different things. I guess that's the part that I'm confused about. Like, 'cause I like trading. And then I did that test, and I had my reasons for doing content creation. But I know eventually I have to kind of make a decision, you know? So I don't know. It's like, yeah.
No,
I put all this time into trading, right? So it's like, okay, you don't want to throw in the towel now, but what if I put in all this time and I find out that you hop on this train and maybe you're going in the wrong direction, and maybe a different path would have been more aligned with who you are. So I think I'm just having this internal conflict as to what the path is for me, and I wanted to just not necessarily think about money, but just what is right for me, so.
I agree with you. Your life is all about you, bro. So it's you choosing how you want to live your life. However, having said that, I had to go through this very painful process of saying no to trading over the past few weeks. It was painful. You have no idea, because I actually enjoy trading more than I enjoy sales and content creation. And I had to say no to trading. It's like, why would you do that, Joseph? Like, it doesn't make any sense if you actually enjoy that process more than you enjoy that. Yeah, but at the same time, the money's coming from sales and content. That's where I'm making my money. And although I love trading, I haven't proven to anyone that I can be profitable consistently over an extended period of time, right? For me to actually get the big stuff that I was hoping for. I'm sharing my story because this might help you to kind of navigate the logical equation of what might be the right thing to do in your situation. Because I told the Wild this morning, I am so grateful. It was so important that I said no to trading, because the momentum that I'm beginning to get now into the group and into, bringing people in and prospecting and doing sales and all that stuff is going to a completely different level. And I'm thinking about business and how we can improve this and how we can improve that continuously. If I had continued on the trading path, I would have started losing employees. I would have started losing clients, maybe not my trading clients, because they would be like, yo, Joseph's trading and we're learning from him. Yeah, like, but all the other clients, I wouldn't have been able to be there for them, right? And I want to replace the educational system, and I can't do that as a trader.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, this is just me and my picture of what, like, I can trade later, okay? But I just can't trade now when I'm in the startup phase of the SaaS business that we're trying to create with this coaching business. So how does that relate to you? Since you started on the trading path and you've now put in more than 100 hours, we could safe to say that, right?
Yeah.
100 hours, 150 hours. You got about 850 left until you are like free. Like you're good at it and you're making profits that allows you to be free and travel the world and do whatever you want. And those 850 hours, it's not a month, right? It's not 2 months, it's not 3 months, and especially since I think you should have a job, right? So it's going to take a year, most probably. 2 hours a day, 3 hours a day. But then you're set for life. And even if you choose at that point in time to say, go to hell trading, I don't want to have anything to do with you, but I'll just do you on the side just to make money while I'm doing my passion. Because you'll have the ability to print money at that time, even though you don't like it. But it's still a game. And when you get good at it, what's not to like? You know what I mean? Like I'm just from a trading perspective, from a gamer perspective, from just pushing buttons, making a bet whether it's going to go up, down, or sideways. I mean, it's not a bad job to just do for a few hours in the morning or for 1 hour, or even as a swing trader once every 2 weeks to go in on the chart, see what's going on, and then place your bets, and then you go and live your life. Like, that is pretty fascinating lifestyle. And yeah, just wanted to kind of put that in there, that even if you don't like trading right now and you're not sure, is this what I'm going to dedicate my life to, etc. It's not your life. It's 1 year. Then you've mastered it. Now you can print money and you can do something else.
Okay. I do like trading. Like, there are times where I like it a lot. I think I know what comes with it is, I think, compared to content creation itself, like you said, you pretty much need some source of income, and I guess I was hoping to find some backdoor way of doing that without having to work a job. I was just trying to be creative. Maybe there's something I can figure out, so I think that's where I was coming from. But I do realize, it would be easier to achieve freedom through trading with reliable income. So, we can agree on that. I mean, yes, you can just trade, but, there are risks with that, because you don't have really the capital to really help you with that momentum. Like I could be profitable, but not as profitable if I had a stable job where I can just put more into my trading account and increase my overall profitability. So,
Yeah.
So I hear what you're saying, taking it in.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, and obviously, like I said before, you're the one who gets to choose whatever you want to do, and but like with the apartment, the lease ends in October, you says, but what does that mean? Like, you have to stay in there until October, or can you leave at any point in time with the month's notice, or how does it work?
I think when you leave before your lease is up, you end up having to pay, I guess, some X amount of months for the months you have remaining. And so I don't even know if that would be a very good idea. Either that, or you would just, if you want to move into your next place, it would just cause problems with the next leasing manager who looks at your history and see that, okay, you've been kind of negligent or you didn't finish your lease. So it only, I think, give problems with that. So
Gotcha. Okay.
yeah, but it would have been wiser to wait maybe until the lease was up. So yeah, maybe logically did not make sense. I was just kind of maybe going more with what I feel. Um, Maybe just because I feel like I'm, for most of my life, I operate from my logical side of things. Like, is this the right thing to do? I'm always, that's the perfectionist side. And then
Right.
sometimes on the other side of the scale where I'm way too emotional. So there's just been this imbalance. And I think at this time I was just going by what I've been feeling, I guess, so, and maybe there wasn't so much logic involved, but yeah, I was thinking, okay, still got to be paid, still got to eat, so I have considered maybe just a part-time job at least, or something that just, maybe a job that maybe I just, liked a little bit more. So
Excellent. Have you considered leaving the country? You can't do that yet because your mom needs you, right?
just for another year, it's just sort of like a something we kind of have set up. Like I'm still sort of caring for her, and I told her just just until 2026, like maybe like right around this time. So
Okay. Gotcha.
yeah.
All right. Yeah, I would tell you to start looking. I think I think it's safe to say that at least you need a part-time job. But I would, in your situation, accept anything that you enjoy, right? Or at least that you enjoy more than the job that you had. I mean, most things will be better simply because you probably won't do night shifts, right? I mean, you kind of had a night type shift situation there.
Yeah, getting off at midnight and going to sleep at 1 a.m. or something like that. So it was pretty late.
Right.
So
What did
maybe
what part of the job did you not like the most? Like, which things caused you to feel like, nah, man, I'm just done?
I think it was just being on the computers, and it was the equipment wasn't really working right. I mean, it's been known issues, and we cannot really do our job efficiently because of that. And you kind of have to jump through hoops to, for most jobs, it's a numbers game. And, I was, in order to give them the numbers they need, you kind of have to maybe bend the rules a little bit. You can't exactly follow the procedure. You kind of have to jump through hoops. They don't really care. They just want their numbers type of thing. And it got to the point where it was physically starting to hurt me. So that's another thing. I ended up hurting my back during the move. So that was another thing that I ended up going into the job and still working. But, they did give me a break. They noticed, okay, your back is a little, but my back is fine now. But I think, it was that and just a number of things, I guess, that maybe led to the decision. But it was the equipment. It was the environment, I think. And just, I guess, the overall mindset there, most people are not really happy there. And so it's kind of hard to, I guess, enjoy being there, I guess, when that's the kind of like the general mindset. But I know not all jobs are like that. So maybe I just, it's not the right job. So.
Okay. And they won't even want to discuss taking you back either, but you wouldn't even want to either.
I wouldn't.
Okay.
I wouldn't.
Great. Then we know that at least. What would be your requisites in a new job? Let's say you did take on a full-time job. What would be your requirements? Or what do you not want? Maybe that's easier to respond to.
Well, no, I was actually thinking of something in maybe the healthcare services.
Okay.
Just because of my caregiving background. I have things like mental health counseling and things like that. And yeah, just something in healthcare. We get to work with other people, children. You get to actually interact with people,
Okay.
and counsel them, in some way, talk them out of a tough time and maybe motivate them, inspire them, or whatever you want to call it, just because
You have qualifications for that, like that they would want?
Just my caregiving background alone, I think I would qualify for those jobs. I've actually gotten postings for those jobs. So not
Okay.
everything in caregiving I would want to do. Like I would
Right.
not necessarily want to work with like dementia patients and just extreme situations, but just
Yeah.
something that's not so stressful, but where I can still interact with people is something I would be interested in.
Let's do it. I
Yeah.
think that's the only thing you need to know is like you need at least one more year of a full-time income. Since you're staying in America and you want to leave America, then you need to stack some cash. And the fastest way to make trading work is to not have fast expectations of growth. And now I'm going to just do leverage trading and just like all that. It's like, no, let's bring in way more than what you're making. Let's put that into the growth fund. Use the growth fund sustainably. You have your reserves. You're doing it the right way. And to do one more year of drudgery, but doing it right. Doing it right, finding joy in the process,
Right.
because that's a
I do want to
choice.
I do want to enjoy the path there, I do. So I'm not saying it's supposed to be easy, but yeah, you do
Right,
have to live your process. So
right. But also enjoy the process of having that job.
yeah.
That's also part of it, where you're like, I'm grateful for this job. This job, thank you, boss, for giving me this opportunity, type thing, because it allows me to do what I know will create the freedom that I need. I'm gaining my 1,000 hours of experience in trading, and this jobs makes that possible, and I'm grateful for that. And when you have an attitude of gratitude, then you can keep going, right? And yeah, that's what I would advise. And although it might not be the advice you wanted to hear, sometimes you just need someone to tell you what's
What
actually
you need
going
to
on.
hear.
Yeah,
No, I can respect that. I can respect
yeah.
that.
And that's gonna be the thing that gives you your freedom. Like the thing is, if you went the other way of like, I'm gonna try the trading thing full time, yada yada, you would maybe perhaps find yourself in a situation where you're going backwards, like it's regression, towards debt and more credit cards, and like I can't sit around and watch that happen. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm your coach, and so like it would be going opposite of everything I teach.
Right.
So yeah, I have to tell you what I think.
No, I get it. I mean, I would manage risk, but I get what you're saying. I could do all this and still not be profitable. I could be at a standstill even after. So I understand. I thought about all those traders, those frustrated traders who don't make any money the first year. I thought about all of that, and that's like, So I said, okay, I'm thinking logically about this too. So, and is there some desperation there? Maybe, maybe am I reaching for the stars, thinking, okay, I can make 3K, when you may have trade setups that don't really call for it, where you can only make 15K or just 1K that month. You can't just say, hey, I'm going to make this much. No, you just stick to strategy and you make decisions, the best decision you can, and you profit whatever you profit. So maybe I was reaching a bit there. So
Let's see how
yeah,
much you make in May. Get yourself that full-time job, get started, and see how much you can make in May. I mean, if it takes you 3 months and you manage to make 3K in a month, quit. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
show us you can do it.
right.
Show you that you can do it.
Yeah, I could be a lot closer than I think. I mean, I could get this done by the end of the year. I really could. I believe I can. I know my potential if I just really locked in on something. Like I really know what I can do.
Yeah.
So I know my potential. So
Me
and
too.
it's exciting talking about it again.
I
So
mean, you went beyond my expectations. I haven't seen someone become profitable that fast in my personal training history of, talking to people that I know personally. So like you have the talent for it. I've always said that. And so for you to create success this year, no brainer. It's
It'd be
just,
amazing.
yeah, it's just the time investment and staying in an abundance mindset situation. And that requires the job
Right.
that gives you some form of enjoyment other than the money.
I would at least consider like a part-time job. I mean, let's be for real here. You know, I still got rent over my head, so I didn't think this was going to be some vacation. I was just I want to make that clear. I knew I was going to, if I didn't find a way online to do it or through freelancing, I was just going to get a job. You know, so I'm not going to, you know, just be realistic about it. But
Are you applying? Are you going to apply for full-time jobs, or are you going to apply for
I'm
part-time
going to
jobs?
look for jobs and at least get a part-time job. But I understand getting a full-time job would help me get there faster. You know,
Yes.
so logically, yeah, it would make sense. I think the only thing maybe I'm having with that, this is just me personally, I think it's just the social aspect. Like I'm feeling like, okay, I'm not really getting out. And also I feel like I've been losing social skills, you know, because I wasn't really the most, you know, like the best communicator, you know, and I know that when you kind of stayed in so long that, you know, when I went out that first time, I was like, God, I just not been out, you know, I was just like,
Rusty.
you know, like people trying to act with me, and I'm just like, didn't know how to, you know, so I still want to go out, I think, you know, and it's not that I can't make the sacrifice, but I still want to, you know, every now and then just do something other than like communicate on Telegram. So what do you say to that?
And you can. No one stops you, bro. Like but like be structured about it. It's like, okay, I go out once a week and then I come home by 11. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is that possible? Or do you have to like spend the whole weekend, you know, raving and coming home at 4 a.m. in the morning? You know, like, I mean, you
Yeah,
know,
you're
be wise about it. You know what I'm saying?
right.
Like if whatever creates the most and the best maintenance is
Okay.
what matters. This is why we say 30 minutes of exercise. If there was a way of focusing more on just making monies and that would create faster results, no exercise, no food or bad food, no sleep, and we could just focus on making money and that got us faster there, I'd do that. But as history and the physiology has it, you need exercise, you need good food, and you need sleep as maintenance. And you also need social interaction on that journey towards success. All of this is maintenance, but it doesn't mean that we go out and we make social interactions our main thing that
Right.
we want to evolve unless we're in sales. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you're in sales, then social is
Then it
number
makes
one.
sense. Yeah.
Yeah. But if you're a trader, it's just like it's not a priority right now. You've got the rest of your life to do social interactions every day if you want
Yeah.
to.
Yeah, I mean that is what I'm working towards. You know, that is, you know, the life I'm trying to create, where I can just maybe trade for an hour and then I can do whatever the hell I want. And so that is the goal.
Yeah. And so, but you understand the maintenance part. If you need once a week or twice a week or 3 times or 4 times a week where you spend an hour or 2 with friends or people that you have similar interests with, whatever, do it. If
I
that's
can
the
create
maintenance that you need. Yeah.
that. Right.
But you can do that with a full-time job.
You're
You
right.
know, like
Yeah,
you
it's not,
don't have to have a part-time job to do social and trading. Like trading can be just 10 hours a week. You know, it doesn't have to be 30 hours a week. It's up to you how fast you want to go, and then you
right.
make accordingly.
Okay.
And the most important part is to be in an abundance mindset. What causes Justin's abundance mindset, where he feels good, where he likes the process, and it's something that's sustainable? Because if it's sustainable, then you can be consistent. If you're consistent, that's what produces results.
100%. Just, I guess, find the process that I love on the way to freedom, you know. So
Notebook and pen is how you figure this equation out. Because like I said before, the only thing you need to do is decide what you want long-term and what the maintenance looks like to get there.
okay. Okay, yeah. That was a good talk. You know, I'm glad we talked about it. And yeah, I probably should have talked about it to you prior to it, you know, to this happening. But you know, it is what it is.
It's all right. It's all right. Love it. Do you want this on the internet?
I'm okay with it.
Really?
Yeah, put it out there.
I mean, it's a very important conversation. People should definitely hear it.
No, I think so too. Just in case anyone else have any questions about their path and the 80-hour work week, they can watch this and just kind of see how we're able to just we had some disagreements, but we still came to a resolution. So
Yeah.
I
Or
think
them
it's
wanting to quit their jobs and just be wise about it, right? I
yeah.
mean, I don't know. Would you have gone back on that decision based on this conversation? Like, would you have I'll stay for another 3 months. I hate it, but I'll stay. Like, just so that you could figure out or are you happy you did it and you're just glad to move on with your life?
I wish I would have just talked to you about it sooner. That's all. I think the job, and maybe I would have had a job already before I just quit. I'll say that.
Totally agree with you. That was, and I hope for everyone watching that they understand that part, because it does make a difference
Yeah.
when you're applying for jobs that you already have one. It's like you have a girlfriend. It's easier to get another girlfriend when you already have a girlfriend. Not necessarily.
Sure, you want to be a.
But it's true, not because you're a player, but because of the fact that that's how women choose men. They'd rather be with the guy that already has.
I talked to a friend about that also. Women, they like to see men who are surrounded and who people want to be around. They don't want to be with that loser in the corner. That's just how women are. They want to see that everybody, this guy is desirable. No, I agree 100% with that.
And employers are exactly the same way. Anyway, love this conversation, Justin.
No, thank you for your time. I know we went an hour, but I think it was an important one to have. That's why I wanted to have it immediately before I made any more decisions. So I said, let me talk to him, and that way I don't do anything crazy and emotional. So
this is beautiful. You're doing great, brother.